The Star Side of Bird Hill is the debut novel written by Barbados-American writer Naomi Jackson in 2015. Born in USA, Brooklyn, New York, is a coming-of-age story about two Brooklyn-bred sisters sent in the summer to live in the small town Bird Hill site in Barbados with their grandmother in the setting of 1989. The book explores such themes as choices, broken dreams, regret, depression, identity crisis, loss, love, unity, reconciliation, recovery, coping, and many others. Avril, the mother of 16-year-old Dion and 10-year-old Fedra, living in New York, has fallen in depression and can no longer handle the burden of taking care of them because of her building mental issues. And their father, Errol, hasn't been around for them for a very long time. The girls begin their new life with their grandmother, Hyacinth, at Bird Hill, while their mother tries to get her life back in order. Initially, they find it hard to adjust, but eventually settle in and they respond to their new home in different ways. The younger Fedra has an easier time blending with their new surroundings and grandmother. She loves spending time with her grandmother, exploring the Bird Hill culture, history, and practicing this ancient form of Caribbean dark magic called obeah. But on the contrary, Dion, the 16-year-old sister, is deeply resentful of her stay in Barbados. She feels as if her independence is compromised, misses her city girl life in Brooklyn, and feels like she has been demoted back to being a child in her seemingly foreign surroundings. The book then flashes back to the girl's mother Avril's troubled childhood and youth. Avril, much like her older daughter Dion, aspires to have that fast-paced city life, leave Bird Hill behind and get married. She meets Errol, the girl's father, but later their relationship falls. A relationship falls apart and their dreams fall to pieces as she is constantly surrounded by death as an AIDS nurse, which leads to a mental meltdown that leaves her no choice but to let her girls go back to Bird Hill. Back to the present, Dion meets a bad influential friend called Suran, who leads her down a road of acting out and self-destructive behavior. When it is discovered that their mother Avril has committed suicide, the Bird Hill community offers a lot of love and support for the heartbroken old Hyacinth and the girls. However, Dion's reckless behavior escalates even more because of this recent tragedy. Because of Avril's death, Errol, their father, also makes a sudden return to the girls' lives. He wants to take back the girls to where he lives back in Miami. But Hyacinth and Fedra is opposed to the idea, while Dion is thrilled because of the idea of living in the city once again. Errol and Hyacinth debate over this decision until they agree Errol to stay with the girls in Bird Hill just for a few days. Errol takes the family to the popular Crop Over Festival. Errol then sneaks with Dion secretly into his hotel. The next day back to the festival, Suran's conservative cousin Jean accuses Errol of trying to ruin the girls' lives. Jean and Errol fight and Jean is left badly injured, which makes Dion realize the downside of that fast life she thought she wanted after she takes him to the hospital. Dion changes her crude behavior and becomes more obedient and respectful of her grandmother. This new feeling of Dion's is further consolidated when it turns out Errol had been a wanted criminal, causing him to drive his own car off a cliff and killing himself. In the wake of the tragedy and past ones, the girls relish the quiet communal life offered to them in Bird Hill as they really start the process of reconciliation, assimilation, and healing.
The Star Side of Bird Hill is a sharp examination of Western migration and what real success means. The book interrogates idealistic utopian views carried by some colonized inhabitants of whether success is truly defined by migrating to a wealthier Western nation. As most pieces of classic 20th century Caribbean literature, such as In the Castle of My Skin, Miguel Street, and A House for Mr. Biswas, all carry a utopian idea of Western migration, in which success or happiness can be found elsewhere through distancing themselves from their history, cultural heritage as much as possible. Inducing legendary Trinidadian author V.S. Naipaul's controversial statements that nothing good ever comes out of the Caribbean. Through its leading characters, the star side of Bedio gives you an opposing outcome to these classic novels, portraying a grim reality on the other side of Western migration to everyone who has lost their mind in her futile chase of the American dream, which comes as a warning to her older daughter Diane, who is on the same path of destruction, and allows her to make a better choice and find true happiness in her own native Barbados before it's too late.
If you have an African novel you want to see Dudu summarize, do not hesitate to comment below. Don't forget to subscribe for more original great Afrocentric content like this. Thanks for watching Mimsy Dudu Summaries.